Welcome to episode 5 on my YouTube channel, The Quiet Stories of Life, which basically I'm just reading excerpts of my book, The Quiet Stories of Life. Good for all the family, so no need to hide. I do have another channel called Erotic Scribbles, which is an adult channel. You may care to visit that as well. Just put me in the search engine and you'll find me, either Morris O'Neill or Erotic Scribbles. All my books, numbering 8 I think at the moment, 9 actually, are available on my personal webpage in hard copy. And I would like, if you would buy a hard copy, I'd appreciate it because I make better royalties that way. But if you want an electronic copy for your Kindle, Apple, you will find them at any good bookstores, Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, any outlet. Just type in my name, they'll pop up there. But if you visit my webpage, you will get a little feedback on all the books, so you'll know what they are, because I've wrote about many different subjects over the years. Obviously, as you grow up, I'm a qualified vehicle mechanic, clinical hypnotist, a logistician. I've done coded welding. Through the course of life, we've all had different jobs and different talents, so you just pick up stuff. And of course writing, which I thoroughly enjoy. Today I want to read you 2 stories which I really like. If we have time, I'll get both in. The first one is page 259, the last story in the book actually. I think there was 41 stories in the book. It's called Black Lotus Honey. I just like the flow of it. It's probably in my top 5 favourite stories. Here we go. Black Lotus Honey. The vegetable market in the town of Sabac is truly a colourful place. It is housed in a long building which has all the hallmarks of being a former cinema. At the entrance one is greeted by hordes of gypsies standing proud over their orange box stands. They sell cigarettes at 6 times the government's fixed price. Sanctions, like so many other constraints in Serbia, are an alien concept to the law's wandering tribe. 2 robust rural ladies in short-length Wellington boots peddle an amazing display of flowers. The smell of fruit and freshly dug vegetables dosses around the doorway, while inside one is awed by 2 heavy marble slab tables that run down the centre of the floor like 2 sarcophaguses, forming aisles for the clockwise rotation crowd who prod and poke all and sundry. Everything for sale is laid bare on these slabs. Footballs of white cabbage roll into blood tomatoes, into parsley, into carrots, into free-range eggs whose shell I'm sure would withstand an explosion. Running beans are halted on either side by bunches of black and green grapes. Everywhere there are netting sacks of peppers. Mostly they are milky yellow, but occasionally red ones are to be found. They are bought by the sack and stuffed to make winter preserves. The deep glossy purple skins of the aubergines add sparkle to the petticoat frills of Russian cabbages, and the fishmongers, with their water tanks, sell live carp and perch from the nearby river Shava, or frozen mackerel and cod from the Adriatic Sea. Everywhere one looks, somebody is holding aloft a sturdy pair of justice scales. One gets the impression that the customary haggle is more important than the obvious imbalance that occurs. A woman shopper wear scarves on their heads and stern expressions on their faces, as if poverty keeps them good company. Perhaps they are poor. One forgets amongst such colour that this is the livelihood and salvation for many. Among the crowd, a body rubbing is unavoidable. Indeed, it is expected as the crowd rotates in this ballroom of nutrition. Now, touched by the first licks of winter, the market becomes less colourful. The stalls sell many dried foods. There are still onions, cabbages and carrots, but other fruits are past their season and hardly even a memory now. High up in the steel rafters, a pigeon beadily watches a particular bean and its owner for a lax moment. At 6:30 in the morning, the centre is crowded, and by 8 the best is already sold. At 9 comes the late snoopers, those hunting that final bargain, and from habit they slide slowly around the aisles, touching everything as if in their own minds to dispute the quality of its appearance. They argue about every price, overbalance every scale, demand every reduction, and haggle still further till the vendor submits under the onslaught. They are the true shoppers, the resilient of the species. My arm is caught in gentle grip, and thus he gains my attention. My head rotates slowly, like an owl observing a mouse by the roadside, and when satisfied no one is paying undue attention to us, he pulls me closer still to his side. His eyes are bulging, and there is an urgency in the bloodshot vessels that run from his pupils, disappearing under his eyelids. He draws me closer still until the alcohol on his breath warms my nose, while his head, canted almost lazily to one side, he closes one eye and points to a jar of honey, nods that slow, knowing twitch of a tipster at a racecourse. Then, closing his fist, he makes a gesture that leaves me in no doubt of his raunchy innuendo. It is a high bet at ridiculous odds, but the prize is worth the spoil, so I lift the dark jar of trachea-like black lotus honey. It is cool to the touch and beautified by a single bubble that steadfastly defies gravity by hanging stationary in the middle of the jar, as if suspended on an invisible strand of thread. And to think, I thought locusts were ugly, green flying insects with big mouths which described crops and fornicated diligently at every other moment. Actually, now doesn't that sound like an idealistic way to endure the passage of time? But black lotus honey, he assured me, is an amazing rarity and much sought after for an enhancement, for not in front of the children, wink wink. To be brutally honest, I never knew about the existence of black lotus, let alone that they made such an erotic brew. Scanning the crowd, I caught sight of a gaudy red scarf further up along the aisles. Pushing my way through the crowds, I dropped back into my slot behind the pious Vuka, my housekeeper. At this moment she is deeply involved in a discussion concerning onions with a rather leathery-faced old trader. He appears to have the stamina for an argument, but a wise look into Vuka's Christian face, and he instinctively knew he lacked the time and courage. Under the wrath of God a deal was struck. She put a coin in his hand and scooped up the onions. "Hold these," she said to me, her finger prodding my chest as if punching in a phone number. A pendulum of onions dangling from her thumb in a clear plastic bag. "Where did you buy that?" she almost growled, spotting the honey. "What, this? It's only a jar of honey. I like honey." The tone of her voice warns me I'm in trouble, and it crosses my mind to plead for it. Perhaps even to shout, "Please, please, Vuka, let me keep it. I like honey, I really do." But I never get the chance. 2 candles burst to flames in her pupils, and her eyelids opened wide to flee the heat. How much was that disgusting excuse for honey? It was not so much a question as a demand. A false answer, and I would be banished to purgatory for a month. 10 Deutschmarks, I whispered meekly. "But Vuka, it's not bees' honey, it's black lotus honey, and very, very nutritious. You should eat some." Her nose sniffs my blood. I had just spent 1/10 of a monthly salary. I thought to make a run for it, to burst my way through the crowds and escape by the side exit at the flower vendor's stall. Instead, her fingers wrapped around my wrist, and she took me in a thundering tow down the market, against the flow of people. There was little point in protest. A previous incident concerning my dislike for tomatoes was ample proof. On that occasion she forced them into my mouth and made me swallow them. I was sick for days. Her fame preceded her, and the tipster tasted holy terror at the sight of her approach. Before her mouth even opened, he was begging forgiveness. His face was suddenly etched in pain, and his eyes seemed to bulge even further as he cursed me. It was as if he were struck with a bolt of lightning. The punters, formed a circle around us, as Vuka, still holding my hand, condemned the deceiver to stoke the eternal boilers of hell. Later, "Don't you ever dare do that again," she chastised me while homeward bound. That I had used my own money I didn't dare mention, but I did feel brave enough to protest. But Fuka, it was Black Lotus, honey. I fell silent. "You Irish fool, don't talk to me." "It was not Black Lotus, honey, but Black Lotus, one of the vilest flowers in Yugoslavia. It's only fit for dogs to piss on," she retorted. I was shocked. She had actually used an ungodly word. I heard her. She said piss. "Why do you think it is so brown in colour?" she continued. "Because it only grows around septic tanks and slurry pits." Her honest expression flogged me better than any father's Sunday belt, for I knew there was more hopes of a Jehovah Witness lying than my Vuka. It can be said that Vuka looks after me well, and I respect her for it. She demands it of me. I like that story. It's true. Black Lotus, honey. Hey, thank you for listening. I don't have time for the other story, but we'll do it in another issue. And again, please, if you buy a hard copy, if you're living in America, most appreciated. Thank you.